Welcome to World Relief Durham's Mentorship Program Training. My name is Selena and I am the Mentorship Coordinator. Today we will be walking through a virtual training for our volunteer mentors. Our program is new this year and will begin at the end of September. The idea for the program came from the Office of Refugee Resettlement. Our state coordinator gave World Relief a call and mentioned that there was an opportunity for a program such as this. Our office thought hard about the idea, wrote up an awesome grant proposal, and a few months later I was hired to take on the task of growing the program. I'm very excited about where this year will take us as an organization and as a team alongside some amazing volunteers. So let's begin our official training. We'll start with some basics of the program. Some of this may be a refresher for some of you. However, we'll begin with the time commitment and expectations. For mentorship, I have used an alliteration system of organizing our days so that they're easier to remember. For our youth, there are Mentorship Mondays, Workshop Wednesdays, Service Saturdays, alongside small group nights. For our mentors, all apply except Workshop Wednesdays. You are required to attend one Mentorship Monday evening a month from 5:30 to roughly 8:30. Our actual programming goes from 6 to 8, however, I wanted to work in the potential transportation needs that your mentees will have. Beyond Monday evening, you are required to plan a small group evening with your group. This can be as chill as grabbing fast food together or as formal as attending a movie or show together. There will be a per diem for those evenings, and World Relief will provide some funding for you and your group. Our first required small group meeting is in October, and I will provide you with numbers prior to that time. However, these small group meetings are crucial for building relationships with your group. If all can attend, we even suggest cooking dinner together at your home, or having one of the students cook dinner at least once during the year. Outside the regular programming throughout the week, the students are required to perform volunteer or civic engagement activities once a month. These will vary from activities such as volunteering at a homeless shelter to visiting the beach during spring break or writing letters to representatives about what policies matter to them. These activities are designed to give youth a better picture of what service in the U.S. looks like. While these service Saturdays are not required for mentors, they are definitely encouraged. Nothing brings better bonding than serving together. I also recommend texting your mentees throughout the week to check on them and show that you care. Throughout all of the requirements and recommended activities, the biggest thing that I can recommend to you is that you put your dedication on display. Show that you are there for them and for your mentees and build that relationship. Be present and show up always. Next, we will move on to what the role of a mentor is. Your job as a mentor is to be a safe American friend, learner, and teacher. Throughout the month, you will build relationship with these youth through 2 to 3 contacts a month in person. Our hope is that as you build these relationships, you will naturally end up spending even more time with one another. Through these meetings, you'll be providing opportunities for growth and learning. While you may think that these opportunities are just for your mentee, they are for you as well. As you grow in relationship with these young people, you will be experiencing a different culture and way of life. Be open to this awesome learning experience as well. You will both serve as an accessible cultural reference. One of the biggest struggles that refugees face as they enter the U.S. is the cultural barriers. Everything can look, smell, and taste different than it does in their home country, and many have expressed this to be a stressor. You are given the privilege to stand in the gap and help them navigate these differences. Another roadblock is that our participants have and continue to face is the language barrier. While some speak English fluently, the mentees that have been in the US for a shorter amount of time have expressed that they really desire to improve their English. You will become an English conversation partner, and hopefully by the end of the year you get to see some progress that you took part in. Overall, you are a stable and caring adult in their life. As you grow together, you will become a trusted advocate. Don't take this role lightly and lean into the journey. You may be wondering how you will be paired with your mentee. Each of you filled out a mentor interest form and have either had an in-person meeting or phone call with me. These steps were not arbitrary, but rather used to gauge who you would fit best with. Studies have shown that mentorship has the greatest effect on participants when they're paired according to interest rather than race or language. While we want to take all three into account to provide wholesome mentorship, your small group is predominantly based on common interests and background. For example, if a student hopes to be in the medical field, we hope to pair him or her with someone who works in the medical field or is studying to be in it. You will also be paired by gender to respect cultural norms and parameters that some mentees may have. At the kickoff event in September, you will be given the chance to meet your mentees and get to know them during the greeting time. You will discuss small group questions following our formal discussion at the meeting, and then be given a window of time to talk about what days of the week and times will work best for your group. Please come to the kickoff event expecting to discuss availability with your mentees. Going beyond commitment, this program may present other challenges to both you and your small group. Volunteers can be a new concept to many of our international friends. Be patient with mentees as they learn that you will become a part of their life. You may run into communication barriers, and some of your mentees may not be fluent in English yet. Use the utmost patience and find other ways of communication. When together and without a translator, try teaching each other new words in your respective languages. Find multiple ways of communicating. Use your photos and phones throughout the process. Technology can be our best friend when used correctly. Have a conversation about responsibility as well. These participants have entered the program with the understanding that they are required to attend all of the meetings. However, young adults and teenagers can need some reminding. Be gentle and express understanding while holding them accountable as a trusted friend. Help the student process their actions. If you have a student that is not attending all of the events, help them understand what repercussions they may have if their absence continues. Alongside holding one another accountable, learn to drop in. These may be awkward at first, but students who are showing that the interest in the program is declining may appreciate a knock on the door to see how they're doing. The same goes for phone calls. Again, there may be awkwardness in initial reactions that you have. Embrace the cultural exchange that you are taking part in. When you first meet a mentee's family, you may feel out of place or like a stranger. Likewise, a mentee may feel awkward meeting your family at first. These feelings will ease and you will become a part of each other's family. When welcoming a mentee into your environment, be persistent. You are the cultural expert. As you get to know your small group, you will most likely have interactions with their parents and family. As mentors, we want to be as respectful of these relationships as possible. Since mentorship may be a new concept to some of these families, it can be interesting introducing yourself and getting to know the family. While each parent has been introduced to the idea in the mentee's initial intake session, meeting you will be the concept coming to life. One key thing as you navigate these relationships is to never seem as if you're taking sides. Your job is to encourage a strong relationship between the parent and child. In all cultures, parenting is done differently house to house. Please be mindful of this as you grow a deeper relationship with your mentees. If they open up to you about problems at home, try to be a voice of reason and neutralism. Encourage respect and obedience for the mentees when applicable. If you hear stories of things that may concern you, such as violence or abuse happening in the home, please do not hesitate to reach out to the mentorship coordinator or another World Relief team member. Overall, when it comes to the relationship between you and your mentee and their parent, and you and the mentee's parent, we always want to observe respect as a priority. Remember, your role is to be a trusted American friend, not a parental figure. Try your best to encourage the relationship with their parents and make sure to meet your mentee's parents if possible. They will love to meet the person that is helping their child and welcome you into the family. On this slide, we have some advice from other mentors that have mentored with a World Relief Office in the past at another location. Margaret says, relationships take time. The best way to build a relationship is to stay true to your word and show the mentee that you are sincerely interested in them, their culture, and what they have to say. I cannot echo enough what she has to say. One thing in my past that I have learned about mentoring is that it matters so much when a mentor is true to their word. Don't be flaky. Judah says, be flexible and pursue your student as much as necessary. It's important to be patient and take those teachable moments as they come. And lastly, Susanna says, incorporate your mentee into your daily life and do normal things with them. You don't have to plan something elaborate for your time together. Even just going to the store together or running errands or helping them with something they need can be really useful. When I was in youth group and being mentored by a leader, I remember to this day how much it meant to me that she pursued me in my time, and I think that what she says is so true. That meant so much to me as a young girl. I remember her saying, "Hey, I'm just going to the grocery store. Do you want to come? I'm going to run errands. Would you like to join?" And I completely stand with Susanna when she says that not everything needs to be elaborate. We're just to be present and show up for these students. Overall, I would say in this program you can expect a few things. You can expect to learn about a new culture and to see a student grow. You can expect to become a part of a new family and to become an important and influential part of the student's life and future. Before we start the program at the end of September, I wanted to make sure that we talked briefly about maintaining boundaries and self-care. Becoming a part of the program like this can warrant some training on these two topics. Despite how much we may grow to love our small group and how passionate we are about serving these populations, we must practice good self-care. If not, you will become tired and weary of the work that you are doing, and this will lead to high stress levels and a higher chance of you not completing the program. And we want to avoid this at all costs. Self-care is best practiced by knowing yourself and your capacity to serve. If you know that you are a person that is more likely to stretch yourself thin, then recognize that when planning out events and participation in the program. While there are required meetings and such, you have the support from us at World Relief, and please be vocal and open about your abilities and we will work together. So some of these good questions to ask yourself are the following. How do I rest? When do I serve best? What are my personal goals? And do I have weekly flexible availability? When you analyze the answers to these questions, you'll be better equipped to know your capacity. Beyond your personal self-care, it's good to know your boundaries. While mentorship is often an invitation to do life together, that does not mean that your mentees need to know all the details of your life. If you prefer to not to answer the phone late at night or receive calls beyond a certain time, make that known to your small group. Think about whether or not you would like to share certain aspects of your life, like social media, with them. Setting boundaries can often create healthy relationships. When doing so, be mindful of how it will affect both parties. Next, we will discuss holistic mentoring. There are 5 components to holistic mentoring. This first component is building cross-cultural relationships. As you engage in the mentoring relationship, you will experience a beautiful cross-cultural experience. Be mindful of this and embrace it. Take every opportunity to allow your mentee to become the teacher of their own culture and enjoy this experience. Holistic mentoring, in this sense, also requires advocacy for vulnerable populations. If you desire to be in relationship with these mentees, you must be willing to become one of their biggest advocates. The refugee population cannot have enough advocates in today's world. Third, take time to empower your mentees, not enable them. Help them recognize their own ability to get things done and achieve their goals. Be a cheerleader for your mentees. Fourth, help your mentees set goals and plans for their future. One of the biggest goals of this program is to help refugee youth identify and work toward their short-term and long-term goals. This is important because as they start off their new journey in the U.S., things can seem complicated. If they are able to identify what they would like to do and have a mentor by their side, this confusion can dissipate a little quicker. Lastly, community engagement is an important aspect of holistic mentoring. At World Relief, we value community engagement and hope that you would choose to engage alongside your student in these activities. One of the best ways to build relationship is to participate together. Remember, relationships take time and energy. Be patient with your student and yourself. Some of the best ways to build these cross-cultural relationships are to take time with the students and their family. Prior to your first small group meeting, go and greet the family before heading off to the next destination. This can go a long way. Another way is to ensure the basic needs of the mentee are met. Make sure that they are in an environment in which they feel safe to talk about the things that matter to them. As a mentor, you should make sure that mentees feel safe and supported before caring about fun or extra things. Third, you can make sure to attend field trips and civic engagement opportunities. As mentioned before, there are very few ways to build a relationship better than experiencing serving and new opportunities together. These events will give you an opportunity to see your mentees in a different capacity and meet their friends. Lastly, you can try new things together. If you know that there is a restaurant that you and your mentees have yet to try, go for it. Try a new type of food or activity together. These experiences will be memorable and a topic of conversation at later dates. I had mentioned on an earlier slide that you could be an advocate for your mentee. How can you become an advocate? The first way is to do research and coordinate resources. In a day and age where media is so large and booming, you can be an advocate by doing thorough research and sharing reputable resources on your social media and in your circles. When people understand the plight of refugees a little bit more in a truthful sense, they are better equipped to become advocates themselves. The second way is to recruit other volunteers. At World Relief, we have many opportunities for volunteering outside of just mentorship. If you have friends or family that are interested, please reach out and we can help them get plugged in. The third way is to become an advocate and speak well of your student. When sharing about your relationship, be sure to help people see your student as resilient and as a teacher to you. Be a good representative of their experiences. Lastly, use person-first identity when explaining your relationship in the refugee community. Make sure to make the person the topic of the sentence, not the labels that they may have. I have also had several questions regarding how you will be supported as a mentor. You are definitely not alone in this process, and I cannot stress that enough. The staff at World Relief are here for you and willing to talk through any queries that may arise as you navigate through your mentoring relationship. As the program begins, we will add each of you to a Facebook group that will be a reminder for events and social engagements. There we will also post videos and articles that relate to the program that will be good resources for you. Alongside that group, we will hold bi-monthly trainings and support groups for all of the mentors. These will begin in late October and will be a place for discussing the triumphs and difficulties that all of our mentors are experiencing. This will also be a place that you receive additional training and support from our staff. Beyond those two groups, you always have myself, Selena, and my colleague Rob Collis as points of support on staff. If you do have any questions that arise, I will be your first contact. Over the course of the program, we will talk a lot about the goals that we have set. For our mentees, the goals will predominantly be academic, future planning, short and long-term goals, relational goals, and English language. As you meet and build relationships with these mentees, understand that their goals are mainly focused within these categories. For some, this may look like a goal of graduating high school. For others, it may be being able to have full conversations in English by the end of the year. We have the awesome opportunity to walk alongside them this year as they strive to reach these goals. For mentors, our goals are predominantly to maintain commitment and show up. Be there for our small group. We hope to learn from the mentees and practice self-care along the way. We hope to show creativity and flexibility as we grow in relationship with these young people. Overall, mentorship is a journey for both parties. During each intake session, the mentees are asked a series of goal-based questions such as, where do you see yourself in 1 year? What do you hope to gain from this program? And where would you like to be in 5 years? I would definitely recommend as mentors that you journal the same questions. Think hard about these and write down your answers. It's always a good idea to keep our goals identified and in front of us as we start a new journey. Next, we will move on to some logistics. As mentioned in the volunteer orientation, our volunteer hours must be tracked due to the nature of our grant funding and program goals. It's crucial that you continue to track your hours through our website throughout the whole process of your mentorship. You can also track your hours very easily on our World Relief website. We also ask that you track any miles that you drove in the car with a refugee for those to be counted as well. When you go onto the World Relief website, you will see in the top right-hand corner a tab that says Volunteer. Once you click the drop-down menu, you will see a tab that is labeled Track Your Hours and Miles. Click on that page and you will be directed to a form that looks like the one that's on the screen. When you fill out your form, select Mentorship as the volunteer job that you performed. For small group meetings, select Case Management and write a brief summary of what you did in the comment sections. This will be helpful for me as we track the program and report to North Carolina Office of Refugee Resettlement. If you did both transportation and a small group, be sure to include both of those items. Also, I cannot stress enough, be sure that you are only tracking miles driven with a refugee in the car. We appreciate the tracking of miles and hours more than we can express. If you have any questions, please reach out to me and I can give additional support. And that concludes our mentor training for now. Thank you so much for being present through the duration of this video, and thank you for becoming a mentor. We appreciate all of the effort that our volunteers pour into each program at World Relief, and it truly would not be possible without you. Each of you either have or will receive a mentor manual that includes calendars for the semester alongside additional resources that will help you grow into your role as a mentor. I look forward to working with each of you this year and cannot wait to see where we go as a team.